Hello and welcome to another episode of Lid's Mini Empire. Today I'm out here showing you around my daily driver. Now here it is. This is my 1999 Mercedes C-Class. This is a facelift model, very late on a T-Ridge, you can see there. Sport trim, so it's got a few goodies, it's got plenty of optional extras. Let me show you around. So, going around to the rear of the car, you can see this is the estate model. These were only available from 1996 onwards. In my opinion, it's much better looking than the saloon car. The nice curve of this rear quarter here and the way that this rear light blends into the quarter panel there. You just don't get this kind of quality on modern cars. Now the badge, C280 obviously. Unlike modern cars where the badge doesn't really mean anything, the badges on these old Mercs tells you exactly what's hiding under the bonnet. So let's go and have a peek, see what's under there. So there we are. Here's the beating heart, as the rear badge suggests. This being a C280, this is a 2.8 litre engine. In V6 form, these were available as a straight 6 in pre-facelift, and then later on, like this car, the 2.8 became a V6. Petrol. This is my daily driver, but surprisingly, it's not actually that bad on fuel. It drives so smooth. I think it is actually one of the best cars I have ever owned, just for the pleasure of driving. It drives absolutely faultless, so smooth. The gearbox is faultless. There's bags of torque. It isn't that much powerful compared to a modern car. We've got 200 horsepower here, which in modern terms isn't a lot. You can get about 150 brake out of a 4-cylinder nowadays. So 200 is absolutely plenty. Wafts along seamlessly, is really nice to drive, and these old Mercedes, the reliability is second to none. These really are the last of the properly built Mercedes. The build quality is phenomenal. These will do insane mileage before you need to worry about any potential engine problems or gearbox problems. As long as you keep an eye on the fundamentals, keep an eye on your servicing, look after them. You've got to keep an eye on rust because they do suffer quite a lot. We'll go on to that in just a little bit. Listen to the quality here. Oh, I love this. You don't get this on new Mercedes. You can see the badge while you're driving along. It gives you so much presence and a feeling of accomplishment while you're driving along, seeing that emblem up front. You don't get that on a modern car. So I'm sure you notice straight away this car has little headlight wiper arms here. That means we have xenon headlights. Really nice option on these. Not very common at all. Makes a huge difference over the standard halogen bulbs. Really nice. Moving inside, we've got full black leather seats, sports steering wheel, and with it being sports spec, you get these white coloured dials. So inside we have digital climate control, the original Mercedes cassette player with a 6 CD changer in the boot. Full leather seats are also heated. We've got this lovely carbon effect trim throughout. That is, with it being the sport spec, you get this instead of the wood veneer. Electric windows, electric mirrors as you'd expect. 5-speed automatic gearbox. See the lovely white dials there. Sports steering wheel. One of the only things about this car that I don't like is the glove box. Look at that, man. It's not even as deep as my hand. It is literally 4 gloves. There's not much else you could fit in there. Luckily we've got a big boot. Check this out for a cool feature. Mono wiper. It actually cleans more of the screen than 2 wipers does. Watch this mechanism down here as I work it. See how it extends as it comes out? It extends, dips in the middle. That's awesome. Why don't modern cars have things like that? So inside it is a nice place to be. seats are comfortable, got the leather trim, nice steering wheel, cruise control. It really is a joy to drive. When you drive 150, 200 miles, you get out, you don't feel like you've driven a long drive. You really could drive this to the other end of the country and get out and feel absolutely fine. And when you put your toe down, that 2.8 litre V6 petrol engine comes alive. Once you get past 3000 RPM, get into the torque band, it gathers up its skirt and it'll take you for a ride. It's not a race car, it isn't as nimble as a sports car, but with the lowered suspension and that engine and this gearbox combination, it really is phenomenal. You can push it enough that you can have fun and it'll let you do that. It's not a race car, don't get me wrong, it's still an old Mercedes estate car, but if you were going to have an old Mercedes estate car, surely this is the one to have. The only problem I can see about me owning this car, other than the tiny glove box, is that these were also available in AMG form with a 4.3 litre V8, and feeling how good this car is with a 2.8, I think that 4.3 would just be absolutely phenomenal, and now I have an absolute die and burn inside me to own one. They're a little bit out of my budget at the current time, but hopefully maybe in the next few years, either a C43 or maybe even an E55 AMG would make me a very happy man. So if you have one for sale, very, very cheap, it would have to be very cheap, but that needs some work, leave me a little note in the comments, because they would be one of my dream cars, either a 43 AMG or a 55. Same chassis as this W202 or the E-Class W210. Pinnacle for me. I don't think it could get much better. So body wise, this is finished in azurite blue, which is a phenomenal colour, really dark colour. When it's clean and all polished up, you can actually see a little hint of purple in it. Fantastic colour for these. I'm really happy that I was able to find one in this colour. You get a lot of silver cars, which is a nice colour, but they're very common. They're much less common in this blue. See with the sport badge in here. With the sport package, you actually get slightly lower suspension, the carbon effect dash, these sport alloy wheels, the other things in there like the seats and the sunroof, they were all optional extras, and the digital climate also. This car is very well spec'd actually. The only optional extras that I can find that it doesn't have is the powerful door mirrors, parking sensors and orthopedic lumbar supported seats. Any other option that was available we've got in this. So problems, what problems has it got? It's a 25-year-old Mercedes. It's got a few little niggles. Bodywork wise, it's a very straight car. There's no dents, there's no scratches, but there is just a little bit of rust creeping through on both front wings. You can see here, and a little bit down here also. The wheels, they're original. They do need a refurb. You can see here the paint is coming away. I've got a plan for them. Hopefully over winter I'll get these wheels off and I can get them away and get them refurbished. I'm on the lookout for a pair of wings also that I can have painted and swapped over. As rust goes, these do suffer, but this one isn't a bad example at all. I'll walk you around. Other than the pair of front wings, we've got just a little bit starting here, and again on the tailgate, just a little bit along this bottom edge. But other than that, it's pretty clean, you know. Underneath, there is no rust. I've had the wheel arch liners out. I've had the car up on axle stands. I've prodded and poked the sills. I've prodded and poked the floor, the boot floor. There is absolutely no rust underneath this car. It's been really, really well looked after. which is backed up by the service history, surprisingly. When I bought this car, it wasn't advertised of having any service history, but when I actually went to pick it up, there is every seat from 2001 onwards, all from a Mercedes dealer, which is really, really nice to see that the car's being looked after properly. Another little niggle I have is this left side headlight wiper. These are automatic, there's no switch for these. So when you use the windscreen washer fluid, these automatically get cleaned as well, and the little wiper sprays out with a little nozzle down here that cleans the headlights for you. This one, although it does work, it gets stuck. Typically, as I'm filming today, it's behaving itself. But about 50% of the time, the wiper is actually stuck up here. I'm not sure if it's a fault with the motor and it's dying when it gets up to here, or if maybe the park feature inside the motor is getting confused and it doesn't know where to stop. So we will have that to change in the near future. Another slight niggle that we have is this driver's seat. The seats are heated, but unfortunately when you turn the heated seat on, only the back section gets warm. The base, it kind of works, but it definitely doesn't get hot enough. So I think possibly the element in the base here has failed or is starting to fail. So I'll have to look into that at some point. And also the headrest. This is supposed to be electrically operated up and down on the switch on the door panel. This side is stuck, which I think is possibly a motor failure inside the seat. So I am keeping an eye out for another seat in similar condition. Otherwise, in the future, I will have to strip this down and get those two bits repaired. Hopefully that won't be too hard of a job. It doesn't affect the car too much. The seat adjusts forward and back, and the backrest adjusts, so it's not the end of the world, it's just niggly faults, you know. So, there you go, this is my daily driver. I'm not really into your modern cars. I've owned a few more modern cars in the past. I always feel they're lacking a bit of character. I like a car that you can feels like it's alive, and this definitely does that. The drive is absolutely phenomenal. I've never driven a car as old as this that drives so nice. It really, really has been looked after, which is expressed in the condition of the car, I feel. Which gets me on to, was this car a bargain? I know it's got its niggles, and there's a little bit of rust creeping on, as I've mentioned earlier. I've already done a few little things to the car. I had to replace the fuel pump a couple of months after I bought it, as that failed. And I had to replace a front coil spring also because that was broken. Other than that, I haven't had to do anything else to this car. So far, touch wood, it's been trouble-free motoring for the most of it. I've owned this car since March this year. We're now in late October, and I paid £1,600, which I think is an absolute bargain. I had to travel a good few hours to go pick it up. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace. The advert was absolutely rubbish, but I spotted the car and I seen how much spec it had, seen the colour of it. I've wanted one of these for a little while. I've owned Mercedes in the past, but this one's much nicer than what I've owned before. So I just couldn't resist. My granddad had one of these, my dad had one of these. It's in my blood. I always had a hankering for one, you know what I mean? So now I'm glad I've scratched that itch, but I think this is probably going to be here to stay for a little while. There's plenty of life left in it. I've got some plans for it. We've got to do a full service in the next few weeks, a gearbox service. We're going to change that headlight wiper motor out, a couple of other little niggly jobs. It's due MOT at the end of the year also. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're going to enjoy watching along with me, doing the repairs, keeping it going. I do quite a lot of mileage. I do about 1,500 miles per month, so it gets plenty of use. It's currently sat on 128,000 miles, which is absolutely nothing in these old mods. They'll go forever. The previous one I had, when I sold it, it had 241,000 miles on it. So we've got something to aim for now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did like the video, please do like, share, subscribe, send it to your mates, show your family, show your friends, whatever you like. The more people we get involved, the more the channel can grow, and then we can bring you some more content. So for now, thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon.